Anyone on there yet?
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Right guys, it's me, Brian Cockerill, on the Taxman Show. We're just doing a preview with Kev Kilty, my friend who I've had for a long time. Probably the best friend I've ever had, ever in history. Always been there for me, always been there for him. Know all his family, his kids are like my kids, get on with all of them. We're just going to ask Kevin what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be doing it on Saturday night this week, sorry guys, because Friday
Saturday this, and we can do it probably, if you want, 7 o'clock, it's up to you.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday, but last week and the week before when we were talking about different things, not so much got mixed up but didn't follow a story.
Yeah.
But the next few weeks we'll do something where we follow a story, and then I'll be having a lot of questions for you the week after.
Yeah.
But this one I was just going to finish off basically when I'd got out of prison, you know, and a bit shy and that suffering, and then I got a job as a lifeguard, and then I'm going to go on from being a lifeguard where I met one of my best friends, Denny Oil, and known him for many years, and
Good lad, Denny,
lot of other lads around that time, Paul Owens, Mick Oban, George Price, my old friend. So I'm going to go through them and the early Doorwork.
Like the 70s type of thing.
Well, it's late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
So the early 80s is going to mention from the very first jobs, but in detail, incidents where we didn't mention incidents before, leading up to Bentley's, the Kirk, another great door lad. In fact, I think out of everyone who's worked with celebrities, I think, not that we're bragging about it, I think Kev Scott and myself have done some really high profile ones, even we take that, you know.
Someone's just said there, did you know did you mind Barrymore?
Yes, I did, Michael Barrymore,
And you did Bob
Monkhouse,
yeah.
I actually got offered a full-time job with Michael Barrymore, and I'm going to go into why I turned it down.
Right,
well, one, I didn't fancy going in the swimming pool.
I was going to say that.
But no,
I thought Michael Barrymore was coming on and say, Kevin, will you give me shorts back?
I did work for Michael Barrymore, Bob Monkhouse, Shabba Ranks, Maxi Priest. And I'm going to tell a story of one time where I got offered, I won't tell you what yet, but I'll tell you, a really, really top class job with some very worldwide. So it wasn't that I was a hard case out like that. A lot of it's about being, you know, surveillance conscious, presentable, companionship and keeping safety. It's not going about like this, that and the other. If they wanted any, you know, big beefies about sort the trouble out, there'd be people like yourself about Brian, you know what I mean? And
you've got to learn it. A lot of being like a good Darwin and being a manager. I've done quite a few myself abroad. So it's been being able to talk to people.
Yeah, of course.
Come to any level, come down a level, go up a level, and you're starting. It's looking at things, thinking. I went to Hong Kong. A lot of the lads in the sevens of football, pretty Mulcaster and all that. I looked after them all, and I was in a pub, and I said, when I tell you to get out, you have to come. There was a lad who worked for the government, and he did the big thing in Wembley. He did all that type of things, all the big stadium and that. And he was brilliant bloke and everything, but they didn't have a clue. And there were a lot of Scouts lads coming out, right, we're out. And then within 5 minutes of getting out, they were all fighting, people got stabbed. Did you know that? You just know yourself, don't you?
You can sense it. You can sense it before it happens. I say you've got like the big man. There's some people who like to think they're in security and they'll drive about in big jeeps or promoting it. That's not top class security. No. You need a bit of that. But you see some of these government officials and politicians, and you know, they'll have people walking alongside them who blend in with them. And usually if you see a giveaway, some of them will be dressed very, you know, just well to do.
Got people on for Aldershot and all over here.
Well, they'll have a little pin on. And it might
it's a bit like MI5. They're all about 12 stone, aren't they? And about 5
feet.
They're not big, they're not big at all. Because they have to. I was talking to one before, a lad who was ex-forces, and he said, what it is, you've got to blend in. If you like your size, you get picked out. You say you went to Morocco and walk around 20 odd stone. You say, but you have to blend in where the crowds are and stuff. He said,
and I'll tell a story as well. I won't give the details about when we talk about high profile bodyguards, minders. Big John Daniels, can you remember him? The really big black bloke, 28 stone, glasses.
Can't remember him.
American. He was minder for Nigel Benn when he went to ring. Enormous, I met him actually. and we're with him for a couple of nights and some good stories about him.
He's nearly as big as Flatty then, wasn't he?
Nearly as big as Flatty. He was about 6'6", this lad, maybe he's more. Enormous bloke. But then you've got like the bodyguards for celebrities who were, you know...
Like Stallone and that, they're not big massive.
No, let them just blend in with him. I mean, I'm not sure whether I can mention it, but I'll check with him today or tomorrow. A good friend of mine who I think his first job he done bodyguard work. And he's 60-year-old now, looks after himself, and he's worked with some of the top film stars in the world. Stockton lad as well, doesn't brag about it now, very quiet lad, you know. And then you've got people as, well, my brother, he's, well, in his prime, he was probably 10.5 stone, 11 max, 5'7". You know, I'll check again with him what I can mention, but he's, you're bodyguarded some really. And then you've got people who are, even there's a couple of local lads now who I know work in the Middle East, and they're actually working with real top class firearms in danger zones, and some of them are on about 4 or 5 grand a day, but you might only get fucking half a day's work and you get shot.
When I was out there, Chrissy Mulcaster was out there with us, and his son, young Chrissy, and there's ex-SES lads in Paris and all sorts. They've got their own elite force in Hong Kong. They wanted me to stay, but they wanted me to look after like MPs in India and that, but people getting blown up with each other. You get £1,000 a day, you know what I mean? You get every £1,000 a day. I said, no, I don't want a job. And you get, like, you might carry something stupid, like you might get on a plane, and you might have to have a briefcase with handcuffs on to carry like a thing, which is like a microchip. Could be anything. He said, honestly,
so Kevin, people are saying, what are you going to be talking about on Saturday at 7?
About in detail, starting work on the door. Some incidents that ended up where there was a couple of fatalities, but I won't spoil the story. Some where people were injured, some of the people who got injured was their own fault. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of some of the lads who've worked with bodyguards and some really good stories on them. And basically, it'd be a good surprise if they can listen in. Some of the stories are very funny as well, actually. Really funny.
A lot of people saying they can't wait.
From you know, from going down from Bentley's days to the boat, the Bonaventure with Paul Owens and that, Kev Scorch, you know, a lot of good dogs, and some ones from Middlesbrough, you know, there's a lot of Brinos, old timers, you know, John Black, people like that. But some really good stories. As I say, it's not that I'm this gangster, I'm not. I was just fortunate enough at one time to work with some really top class celebrities. And I could have had a pen job with them, but there was a certain reason why I didn't. I'll just explain why. I don't really regret it, because if I had carried on that work, I wouldn't have been able to give the time to my kids and also the time to Richard. And I'd have done that, then Richard, I don't want to take any credit, because he's the world champion, not me. But I wouldn't have been there to guide him along to what he's become.
And drive him to all his events.
All the events, everything, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I remember it.
And on some of these things, we were homeless at the time, meaning living in a hostel. And the one where we come on to Richard, there's parts of it which are quite sad, actually, really sad. There was one time where I laugh about it now, living in the back of a car parked opposite the hostel that my kids were in, because I weren't allowed in, not for anything specific, except I weren't registered living with them. And that happened for 6 months, you know. But the bodyguard work, and not so much bodyguard with me, I did work with quite a few celebrities, but other people, and also some of the door work of tales of people who, I'd say fatalities, there was a couple of fatalities really.
Lee Thistlewaite saying hello to you. And he said he remembers when Jay Murray worked on the Masham door, when Dorman were Dorman. Is that Jimmy Murray?
Well, in the old days, you had to be able to fight. I'm not trying to glorify it, but you had to be able to fight. Because people would come and want to fight you, and you want to sell outside, you have a straightener. Now, all these badges and things, so they're all really the doormen now are just like policemen really, and they've got badges and all that. But in them days, you couldn't phone the police. You'd have a fist fight, the police would come and just sit and watch you fight. That'd be it, and just drive off, they wouldn't be bothered. But nowadays, it's just everyone gets locked up because of the cameras.
There's a lot of door lads now. I mean, you've got the pub watch, so literally in the doorman's favour, you can turn around and say, Any carry on, lads?
Cameras
You're on.
there,
Watch,
yeah.
you can't.
Legit Pro Wrestling's on, saying hello.
Oh, hello.
Legit Pro Wrestling.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
He's the best. And he's the best of the best. If you want to learn
Well,
jiu-jitsu, any type of that stuff, mixed martial arts, he's the best.
He's the best.
That's not me just saying it because he's my friend and I treat him like
if
a
you
son.
look at the qualifications he's got throughout the world and that.
And the places.
Bram saying, do you know Kenny the Phone?
No, Kenny the Phone.
Oh,
very well.
Kenny very well. Got my
Very
first
well
phone off him.
possible, yeah.
Yeah, first mobile phone.
Well, I think I got maybe he's the joint first phone Kenny ever saw.
Yeah.
And he had a portable cabin at the back of, well, where the new Lidl is now.
They call him Kenny the Phone because he obviously sells phones. That was his nickname. So no Kenny for
prior to being called Kenny the Phone, he was actually called Kenny the Snake. And the reason he was called Kenny the Snake, it was because he used to have a collection of dangerous snakes, you know, very, very lethal ones, you know, and tarantulas and all that.
Quite a lot of snakes in Middlesbrough, but they're not snakes that you're in ones.
I had a tarantula at one time. As a kid, I was scared of spiders, and I had a tarantula, and I got it off Kenny Pierce actually. And stupidly, I decided to take it in its little box to Bentley's and let it crawl up my arms and that, you know. So I overcome the fear of the tarantula and that, Right. But yeah, there's some good people to mention stories of, even the nightclub owners, Javed,
Kenny Gregory, he was a good lad.
Kenny Gregory,
yeah, he's good lad.
Lots of good stories. But if anyone's got any pre-questions, what they'd like to ask, if they get in touch with them or up to them, we see if we can sort it. But we try and keep the subject all about, you know, door work, and not only door work, activities in the street. What was going on in them days, crime and that. So there's a lot of crime then. People say now, oh, it's bad. The lads then were a lot tougher than they are now. These idiots with shotguns who couldn't hit a bull's ass with a shovel for some reason, firing guns, which it shouldn't be.
From half a mile away.
Bram said he tried to get him to touch his snake when he was 4.
But Bram would have made a very, very good professional bodyguard, actually. He's intelligent as well. And also, believe it or not, I walked into his house the other day, and here he is speaking in fucking Russian. Yeah, luckily he interpreted it. He said,
he's under the thumb though with Heidi.
Yeah,
Heidi's got used to it.
He was speaking Russian.
She makes sure he keeps out of trouble, doesn't she?
On the phone, and Heidi went, and he's doing this Russian speaking to his tutor on the phone. He didn't know I can speak Russian as well. He said, oh, he's a fucking father-in-law again. You had a cup of coffee. No, but some good stories, and there's a couple of stories about Bramming as well, and Bram's dad actually, Paddy Crossan, who was a really good friend of mine. Some good Thornaby lads as well, you know.
Lee Thitterwaite's on about the bouncers from Blazers, no, Pacho and George standing all of you.
Well, there's a story in there where they came to Stockton to try and take over. They worked in Birches, and little Basil Mann, that could be Speedy.
Yeah, Tommy Pickram was telling us.
I was in there, and it was alleged that I went in with a handgun and put the gun to them and tried to shoot them, and the gun jammed. And I was supposed to have cocked it, and it went down the metal stairs. And the police surrounded the whole building, 400 people in there. Some girl got the gun out, allegedly Speedy's missus. The cops arrested me and Speedy, kept us in the cells, and 400 people were interviewed, and everyone was on the cop said there must have been a lot of people fucking on the toilets. Everyone made it say I was on the toilet, no one said a word. And I've got to sell 24 hours, and we've got a powder residue test, and I got off with a charge.
I remember that. I weren't there at the time, but I remember.
Oh, it was like a football thing, you might know, police all the way out, surrounded.
Because Terry and Les have always got
that was only that was the first time. It was, I think it was 7-8 times I got it done for.
Yeah, well, Birch's
did have but never ever got arrested, but never ever got convicted or anything.
Yeah, there's some really good stories about the Stockton lads, Thornaby lads, Borough lads. You know, some I'll tell in detail, and some of them are very funny. I mean, I'll tell the story later about what we used to do to certain people who were working tickets, but they weren't really overly tough, but they were cheeky bastards. And we try and befriend them and just say, how would you want to come to a meal with us at the end of the night, you know? And we knew they were dickheads. We'd get them in the car and take them to Norton Duck Pond, and we'd have a trial. I'd be the prosecutor, and Mickey Davies the judge, John Pugh would be the barrister. But the end outcome of it was they all guilty. They all went to the duck pond, and literally 4 of us would swing them And they'd go maybe 12 foot in the air, and when they crashed in the water, we'd all cheer, oh, and drive off screeching, you know. Mad, but some really good stories.
Yeah, things like, couldn't get away with that nowadays with the cameras.
No, you couldn't now. And
but you know what, the thing is, when you did that, it sounds daft, but the justice, what was like on the streets in the old days, people weren't getting tortured like they are now.
No, the way,
you wouldn't tolerate it.
No,
then,
they wouldn't.
People would find old people getting there to go around, sort them out. Any tough guy who was in any council estate in them days would go and say, who's done that? And say some old woman would get robbed, like I used to do it all the time. I'd get all the stuff back. I wouldn't tell the police, but I'd get all the stuff back and make sure that the perpetrator's got a good hiding. And that was better justice, I thought to myself.
Even if you didn't know the person who'd been burgled or whatever, you'd have someone go around, and the next minute it would be back straight away, you know. Yeah, it would be. When the Doorwork certification came into place,
when was that?
It was 1993. I was one of the first door lads to go on it with Kev Scott, and we ended up giving advice to the people who done the security programme. But it was very strict to get on them then, you know, and I'd say at Macmillan's we had a really good team. Bentley's had a great team of door lads.
The Mal had
good door lads. The Mal had excellent door lads. Always Mark Johnson, Ali was a good lad. Quite a few, George McKenna.
George McKenna, wonderful bodybuilder, really good lad.
Yeah, there was some great lads, good door lads. There's a couple of them, there was one that passed away, what did they call the lad? Something like looking like dark, that he had stomach cancer.
Can't remember.
I'll get his name, but some good lads and that. One of the door lads from Macmillan's, Marty Mandible's mate. They were driving home in the car around the Kirk roads, had a crash, one of them died, you know. But yeah, some good stories.
He got shot, Marty, didn't he? And the day he got shot, me and Brad Flight were driving my Jeep, and the police pulled me over, but just seemed it's because it's a big lad. It was obviously another lad who shot him with the same type of build as me, but they pulled me over. And I was talking about 9mm and young Brian. I don't believe the conversation was around the place. Like, them 9mm, no, them Brownings keep jamming, you know. You're right there, big fella. They searched the car, but it wasn't us, it was somebody else who's done it. Everyone who got shot.
Marty and Robbie, both good lads, and they both had a security firm, team security. They were very good friends at once, and had the door everywhere, you know, the Empire all over and that, you know.
Latest the way it said, sorry, okay, when was Brian there when Duffy had the Blazers bouncers lined up outside? By the time I came out, Duffy was taking the pee out of one of the bouncers' trainers.
No, I wasn't there that night. I was there when he lined them all up at the shops up Park End way, and there was like 17 of them, all the Nivenses and all them. And he took all of them, he made them go in and get all the gyros and take the money off them. And I was embarrassed me. I said, well, what all the kids? He went, I don't going to spend it on drugs anyway, big fella. And he had them all lined up, take all the money off them. You're going now. You know, when we're going, and then he'd come out, then he'd go and he'd come out, and just take all the money off them. Well, if I was boxing that, they just took all the money off them. Because they were calling him names, say we were in jail, he's going to do as he got shot. He was one of them who, once he got something in his head, he wouldn't leave it as he knew.
Brad was the opposite, he'd give money away, you know. And I'll tell it, as I say, I'll blend into a few stories with Bri as well, because at the end of the door, you know, years' work, when I was finishing off, Bri came on the scene. And then a few years after, I went back and worked at Macmillan's, you know, so I had a gap in between all, and then Bri was coming on to be, you know, well, power of strength everywhere. He was known and wanted to work on the door everywhere, the north, east, down Manchester, everywhere wanted him, you know.
Were you going to talk about when you were training as well, Kev?
Yeah, I am, There's actually a few things actually.
You used to train with us at the gym, didn't you?
Yeah.
Michael, we should all jump in.
I mean, I was on the back at years of it when I was training with Bri, but a couple of the claims to fame was, and my old friend George Price got me into this, when I was a lifeguard with Denny Oil, another great friend of mine. He used to get us to do parallel bar dips. I don't know whether people know what they are, what Brian Jacks was famous for. And when I first tried to do them, I could struggle to do one. And my old friend George took the piss out of me that much, that every time I went across from one swimming pool at Stockton to the old swimming pool, I'd go on the dip bars and try. Couple long stories short, I got that good at them, I went into competitions. I won the Mr. England competition parallel bar dips, broke the record. I'll tell you the details in it on Saturday. And I also, unofficially, in front of Bill Boyd, broke the world record of 109 dips in a minute That's
Brilliant.
how good I got them. So that was my speciality.
Yeah.
I never got paid
Legit
for it.
Pro Wrestling said, what's your favourite song, Kevin?
Oh, there's lots of them. In fact, I was going to mention them really. But one of my great songs is "Never Knew Love Like This Before."
Oh, I like that one.
Stephanie Mills, 'cause it was the first one I posed to at when I bodybuilding, and I won. But I've got quite a lot of few good songs that I
Chain
really
Reaction
like,
was the one I did at the Mr. England in 1986.
But it's a good subject that about songs.
Yeah, it is.
Because songs are memories. And memories are songs. You think of a memory, there'll be a song there.
It's a smell,
or a song and a memory.
Or a taste or smell. Or, we were just talking to Bram the night, we were watching The Karate Kid. Because I remember The Karate Kid when I was a kid. I left school. And you'd watch it, I think it was great. Now they've got this Cobra Kai's been on. He's watched it, we're watching it now, me and my wife. We've watched your nice laughed out because it takes you back to the 80s when you were a kid. Oh, I remember them bites and the chocolate bites. You remember this? And it gives us a bit of a buzz, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people go into songs. Well, actually, you know, even though I don't bother with, I'm not going to call him Jamie Boy, but he was talking about his favourite song last time I seen him, and it was the song he liked was "For All the Girls I've Loved Before," but there was none.
Just totally stalker.
But we've got some good stories.
Yeah, we have some great
detail
stories
this time, you know, going on from. So they'll go on in a year like 1980, 1982, 83.
Hi, Dave Galloway.
Some really
Sheffield.
good stories.
You've got loads of people watching here, you know.
All right.
You've got.
We'll stay a bit longer for them.
You've got 53 people watching live, and that's good. No, we haven't even put
for about a 10-minute preview.
We haven't even put a warning out.
No,
but we go. I've been up to Sheffield quite a lot with my son Richard. Used to go to Don Valley.
Known for the
great
nice
athletic
steel in it.
Great athletic stadium. Knocked down now, you know, sadly.
Legit Pro Wrestling. Do you like Danielson or Johnny?
I don't know what it is. I don't like Danielson. I like Johnny better.
We used to love Danielson, but now we're thinking he's going to be above his station. But I think he'll turn out all right. I'm hoping he will. Mr. Miyagi.
Cobra Kai.
Never die.
I like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah,
well, that was him.
He had the bonsai tree.
Johnny's the blonde haired one who beats him up.
We like Johnny. Bam likes Johnny.
Johnny's good.
He can only kick about.
He's realised, hasn't he? We think he's learnt lessons.
He's been watching Bram, hasn't he? That's why he's become good.
Yeah.
He's watching Bram's there.
Yeah, he's probably watching you at Legit Pro Wrestling.
I didn't speak Japanese.
Actually, the other night I seen a Jackie Chan film which I hadn't seen before, and I thought he was a bit corny, but I watched it, and he was singing this war in it, Edwin Starr.
Right.
Thank you, Lee Thistlewaite, for mentioning the book. Who else?
Don't forget the book.
There's people from all over the place in here.
The Teesside book. We've got it. All the attached on the Teesside. We've got it. Signed copies if you want to get it. Just
get in touch.
Subscribe on my channel, free. We've got all the training stuff where I've been telling people how to train your chest. We've got the elastic bands training, the wrist distance bands, we've got dumbbells, we've got barbells, we've got how I train from 18 till 24, and I put 12 stone on in 6 years. So that routine's now on that YouTube channel. So you do your back on a Monday, your chest on a Tuesday, biceps and triceps on a Wednesday, legs on a Thursday, and shoulders on a Friday and the rest of the weekend. That's what I did to get so big. So if you want to get into the gym, do that and watch my YouTube. It's all free.
And about at times 15,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn wrestling or any type of martial arts, get in touch with Legit Pro Wrestling because they're amazing. It's Kevin.
Next to Argos and High Street in Stockton.
You can find them on Facebook and Instagram, place like that.
And my daughter, I don't know whether you've seen some of the videos of Heidi kicking.
No, it's just phenomenal.
Really, bloody hell, unbelievable. I'm not only saying it, she's my daughter, and she's excellent at nutrition, you know. And psychology, she's really got a degree in it, literally a doctor, you know. I used to call her when she was a young kid starting off Makushla.
I remember her when she used to be in them. Well, they used to get the Victorian dresses, didn't she, and stuff like that, and she was like a little princess. She was like,
they were all three-piece dresses, you know.
Heidi Crossan, she's shouting, "Hi, Dad."
Hi, Heidi. She was. excellent, you know, still is, dedication of that. They don't go promoting everything what they do, I'm the big I am. They go, they learn it, they teach them. The way they teach them young kids, and the parents are there, and the base of God.
The thing as well, the thing they do, the work they do, they deserve a lot more accolades because they go out at Christmas and they go around and they used to feed all these people on the estate before it was knocked down. They'd go out and get parcels and wrap them up all through Christmas and be freezing, carrying them about and make sure every single person got a toy or food.
It's amazing,
everything.
Hundreds and hundreds of parcels.
In fact, I'm going to give Heidi a ring after in Bram because there's something where I've got a contact where they might have a big thing going on for them. But what they do is no, they're totally
vodka. That's all I know.
dedicated to the cause of what they do.
Oh, that's a brilliant.
Absolutely.
But that's the best way.
Do you know anybody in Coventry, Kev? As he's heard your name in the Edge Club in the 1990s.
Oh, right. I did have a couple of friends in Coventry once over a long time ago.
1990s, he's talking.
I had hair, yeah. I did have a few friends. A couple of them were into bodybuilding as well. Because as you say, once you know one bodybuilder, you do know.
Our Bram used to train in Coventry.
When you go to the shows of bodybuilding, you get to know some from London and they know you and you get to know loads. And it's like a family in it, the bodybuilding scene.
It's a good click as well.
We've got a brilliant lad over in Alex Dudley, in it.
Yeah.
And he's got his Hustling Labs. If you want your protein, creatine, anything, vitamins for your brainchild, his stuff I've been using. I'm growing like a bloody mushroom, baby mushroom, and then I'm getting all that bloody fats come off me, training really good, and his products are brilliant, so I know people are struggling to get to shops and things like that. You just order it and you get it in a couple of days. He's a really nice lad. We're going to be doing a podcast with him. We've got loads of people we're doing podcasts with, but obviously with this COVID thing, we've only doing Kevin and a few other people.
Yeah, a few of the bodybuilding.
Kevin and we in the bubble army together, so.
So we're allowed to do a couple of the bodybuilding lads as well. I say I'd met Dorian Yates before through.
I met Dorian through. So I met him through.
And he was asking
Bill Boyd. He sat at the table, it was 12-seater. And he looked, he was big, but I was massive at the time, and I think he was about 19 stone or something. I was about 24 stone or something. I was a bit of a belly bodybuilding powerlifter. I was a powerlifter, a bodybuilder. But he didn't look that big sitting down, but when he got on stage, he done that right. I've never seen anyone, the lats go out so wide, and his calves were unbelievable. I went, wow, unbelievable physique. But he was a lovely, just quiet man. Just very quiet. Really nice, well spoken, and really nice, humble person, really intelligent.
Did you know him, John Hodgson?
No, I didn't know.
John Hodgson, I think he come about third in the Olympia short class. But I can remember him when he'd been training about a year or so under the wing of Kerry Kayes.
They're the ones who. Dorian Yates was the first of the mass monsters. I called him the Shadow because he came behind you. He was that big. He was huge.
You've got people on from Kilmarnock saying they love listening to your stories. Bram said, "Where's the beef, Bertle Fox?" And
the Bertle Fox one. What happened to Bertle Fox? Bertle Fox come to Redcar, as Emma knows, and he stayed for 2 weeks there. And Don Williams at the time had it was called the Olympia Gym, and it was probably the best gym in the country. He went to America and he found how good the gym was.
What's the best gym in the country?
The best gym in the country. We trained there, and well, Fox come for 2 weeks, and it was an honour to train with him. I actually trained with him a few times, and it was monstrous. Biceps were unreal.
The density.
He was just unbelievable. He was miles ahead of his era.
Alan.
In the 1983 Olympia, he should have won that.
He
should have won it.
You know, people might not like the flair of his physique, but on an overall physique, that one he should have won.
Do you know Randolph Turpin, Kev?
Yes, a boxer.
That was the lad from Coventry said, do you know do you know him?
Yeah. We actually, I think I went to one of the shows down Coventry in the mid-80s and got to know a few people. Manchester, there'll be a few people from Manchester who I'll mention to do with the Doorwork and the cramping. Not that we glorify crime.
No, we're not.
Just
what's happened over the years, isn't it? The truth, what's happened, and it's in the papers and things like that. So, but what we're trying to do is bring
Bram
back...
saying Jeff Thompson.
Jeff Thompson?
No, I don't know Jeff Thompson.
Who's that, Bram?
I used to know Jeff Thompson from Thornaby. He was a school teacher.
But what they're saying as well, people, is that anybody wants any questions as well for next week, for Saturday night, you can ask in advance. I think Bram's talking to a lad from Coventry who's mentioned his name. So,
yeah. If there's any questions about it, you know, what you want, you know,
Frank Richards.
7 o'clock maybe.
7 o'clock.
Frank Richards. Ring a bell to you?
Oh,
Yeah,
Frank
yeah,
Richards,
yeah.
From Wigan, bodybuilding.
Oh, yeah,
was a tight circle back then. He gave me my first trophy as 17-year-old.
Excellent, yeah. I actually met him a few times, Frank Richards. He was an Olympian, and I think he placed it a few times. Really lovely bloke. I seen him once, and I knew him briefly a little bit. And he was walking through Blackpool Pleasure Beach in 1983 when he was in his prime. Yeah. Awesome, really. Excellent bodybuilder, really good. I think if I remember rightly, I think he also, while he was bodybuilding, or just before, he got into it through having a really bad accident with his back.
Scaffolding or something.
Yeah.
I remember him posing in Middlesbrough. I think Michael was there, and he was posing on stage there. Absolutely brilliant. He posed to I can't remember the name of the thing now. It was a sci-fi thing, the tripods.
Yeah.
George Formby, Bram said.
George Foreman.
Formby.
Formby.
He's a singer, wasn't he?
Yeah,
George Formby.
George Fawcett, you mean?
No.
George Fawcett, no, George
Fawcett, he was a bodybuilder from Redcar.
George won the
Mr. England,
Britain,
and he won the Mr. Britain.
Great physique, George. Very one of the best bodybuilders around here.
His brother was brilliant. His brother was in the Mr. Universe, came third there. Barry, his stepbrother, he was really good. Barry, what was he called?
Barry Fawcett, yeah.
Barry Fawcett.
George had excellent physique, George.
I used to train with George when I was 19. I lived at Redcar. We used to go to the Olympia gym. He was actually with us when we trained with Bertel Fox. George trained with us.
Blackpool, yes. No, it was George Formby, the singer.
Yeah, George Formby, yeah. When I'm leaning on the window, lamppost on the corner of the street, that's George Formby,
Yeah. Who are the lads' favourite ever bodybuilders? Personally, mine is Jay Cutler.
Yeah, Jay Cutler's fantastic bodybuilder, but he doesn't beat. For me, Arnold's the best of all time.
You've got to look at Arnold, yeah. I mean, the way they changed in different ways. I mean, for looking at the physique, a couple of my favourite bodybuilders ever, one of them I got to know quite well was Brian Buchanan.
Yeah, it's a 26-inch waist, yeah.
Very intelligent
really
lad.
Nice lad.
Yeah,
really
very
nice
intelligent lad.
Yeah.
Bram said he sang about training as well.
Right.
Bertel Fox, excellent. But I think one of my favourites of recent years, I think, was when Dorian Yates had won the Olympia, and the night after was Night of the Champions in Nottingham. Yeah. And Kevin Levrone was there. I thought Kevin Levrone had the edge on Dorian Yates.
Yeah, he was really good, wasn't he?
Great physique.
I love Dorian, don't get me wrong.
Sergio Olivia,
he's the myth. Unbelievable.
ID said Purple Lucky.
What about Vic Richards?
Yeah.
Number one. He never competed, but he was the biggest bodybuilder ever. Yeah. Monstrous he was.
They'd have had to watch the muscles with him, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, years ago, you know, when we first started training, Denny Oil actually, I was a lifeguard at the Bats, and Denny Oil come in the first time I met him.
You ever saved him drowning?
The what?
You ever saved him?
I did, and I was going to go on to that.
What about Reg Parks, who was from Leeds and played Tarzan in the movie?
Reg Parks was absolutely phenomenal bodybuilder. So was Thingy Scott, Larry Scott. He invented the Scott. He had the best biceps in the world. Fantastic bodybuilder.
Some great bodybuilders. But I loved the sport in them days when we first got it.
I think the bodybuilding in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they were the best physiques because they used to have a thing called a vacuum where you lifted your stomach up. You could tell your rib cage and you pulled it. They can't do it now. There's nobody hardly can do it. There's the odds. All the Arnold and all them, they weren't that. They were 16 stone or something. But because the waist was so small and the shoulders look so big, didn't they? But now with this bubble gut they've got with the growth, it's making them look terrible.
Frank Zane was Kevin's favourite, Heidi said.
Frank Zane. I think Frank Zane beat Arnold twice.
He was down here, he was at the Bodyguarding down here.
Frank Zane, I think, a lot of people like Frank Zane because he was a physique that anyone could probably achieve, because he wasn't that, he was like Sylvester Stallone type of size. But what he had is what you call symmetry in bodybuilding. He had a 16-inch neck, 16-inch biceps, 16-inch calf. He wasn't that big. He was only, but he was so ripped and in proportion. And when he did that pose, when he did that with the two arms, he just ripped. He was like a bit like Rambo reminded me of this type of physique, like a Rambo type.
Somebody's asking Brian if you'll be making public appearances and talks when lockdown's finished. Would love to meet him.
All over the place. We've been offered to go to Ireland, myself, my wife, radio, America, Australia, all over the place. Manchester, everywhere has been offering them. Doncaster, everywhere you can think. All of Scotland want me to go. Kevin knows that.
The Scotland, there's a lot of them wanting to do them up there, down in Liverpool, Manchester.
It's just it's crazy.
Be some really good, because then when you do that type of thing, you do an audience presentation with your screen and all that. Yeah. The question and answers will be really good there, you know.
Mike Mensa, who invented the HIIT training, high intensity, low reps.
Just tell him we did do one with the Bishop Auckland to do, but someone spoiled it. So if you go on my YouTube channel and look at the night of Brian Cockerill speaking at Bishop Auckland do, you'll see the fool on there, mate. The fool.
Bram's just saying Gary wants you to go to Australia, Brian.
Yeah. So I've just been talking to my wife today about Gary. Good lad. I remember going round. It was me, Brian Flaherty, little Brian Flaherty, another lad called Brian, and Bram. Can you remember them thing? Them like you punch like a dummy thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that. And Gary was he was in with all the school teachers. He's a fireman in Australia now. And this thing, he said, I've gone that. I punched it twice and knocked its head off and smashed it to pieces. I've just paid 200 quid for that. And that was the day, tell you, Gary. But he had us in. Last year he came over to help us get in the schools. Yeah. Because he knows the headmasters and everything like that. So we've had people, we've had the mayors phoning from kind of contractors from Hartlepool to help us. We've had the mayor from Middlesbrough helping us. So it's just never ending, you know, it's been good.
Yeah, it's good to educate the kids, because the way it is now, if the kids don't get a grip of certain things, the prisons are going to be overrun.
What I'm saying to them, I'm saying if you don't get the kids told when they're young, it's no use when they're 14, 15 years old, when they're on the stony path, you need to get them in the grassroots very young.
Right, it's a couple of questions here. One lad said, Stuart Harrison said, did you know Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk actor, was born deaf and was picked on 4 years? Yes. Then, hi all, how long would you recommend waiting before jumping back into the gym after a hernia operation? Cheers.
You've got to fully recover. I'd go and see the doctor first before. I wouldn't just go on your own gut feeling, pardon the bunch. I'd go and see the doctor, make sure it's fully healed, because the last thing you want to do is go and tear it again.
What would you say, Kevin?
Depends what hernia it is and where it is.
Different types.
I mean, my son Luke, he's had 3 testicular hernias. And obviously you can have abdominal ones, but you also can have what they call an hiatus hernia, which is get chest pain. But I would ask your doctor, you know, but you can still train with them. It depends whether it's a visible one or not.
Yeah, you get ones where the skin comes out the intestine, doesn't it?
And you get an hernia repair as well, but speak to your doctor about it, but you won't stop your training, definitely.
How much did you weigh back in the day?
The biggest I weighed, I could never get to the 24 stone. The biggest I weighed was 23 stone, 10 pound, and Flaherty used to weigh 26.5, so I could never beat Big Flaherty.
But that 20...
Bram said, where you finding them NFL tops, he loves them.
We'll
send you the link later, Bram.
No, you're also at the picture. I have loads of people coming on YouTube.
He likes your t-shirts better.
Loads of people coming on YouTube.
I like that.
Where do you get these tops? Emma's finding them all over.
I'll send you the link later.
We seen Alex the other day, everyone as well, so loads of people that said that as well. They're really good because they're a treble extra large. I'm starting to be a bit too big. They're getting tight on me, so I'm probably getting up to 4 extra large now.
Actually, the way Brian was then, when he was 23 stone 10,
you had the autumn wind
a very, very, very naturally narrow waistline. You know, which that's genetical.
I remember competing when I was 21.
It was like a peep show. I'd say at Winnie Banks.
Oh,
when's Brian coming down? When's he coming down? He'd be down in half an hour. It'd just be an audience.
Richard would have all the kids on the front and all be sitting there.
No, it was...
Hey, Mr. you're the best fighter.
Not only
they used to come over, didn't they, with a little piece of paper, let me sign the papers for me to be signature before I'd done anything.
Someone's asked if you and Lee Duffy ever trained together.
Yeah, we trained at Moore's gym, and he benched 300 pounds for 1 rep, and I did it for 20 odd reps. and he was fascinated, and I trained him, and I can prove this with
That would have been a good
Paul
bench for him.
Epstein and Craig Allen was there, and I benched 6 plates each end on the Smith machine, and I got 6 reps, and Paul Epstein was like unbelievable, he said, and Lee Duffy come away with, I've seen it and I don't believe it, and that Craig was there, wasn't there?
Carol's online, so say to Carol, Lee's
Carol,
Lee's
that's Lee's
ex-partner.
ex-partner, a lovely lady.
Craig Howard, he helped me a lot for my first show actually when I got into bodybuilding.
He's probably the
And he
knowledgeable
was
person.
He was like a superstar, you know.
Yeah,
he was a universe contestant, you know. And I remember me and Denny Oil used to say, oh, imagine going to watch the universe. Years later, Denny come 5th in the universe. But Craig Howard had the best squatting style. Probably maybe it's because he wasn't overly tall. But I've seen he used to squat with his glutes right literally to the floor.
That's what I used to train with Craig. Me and Craig used to train at Darling, so we trained all over.
He trained. He
train.
loved to travel about and train. And
in different gyms, he was the one who got me into training. He said, you get bored, so we used to go to Redcar, we go to Darling, we go all over the place to train. But he was good with Vince Brown and all them.
He was very well in all of them.
Yeah, he knew all them.
Another couple of good local bodybuilders. There was some excellent local bodybuilders, very good ones. Mark Lanny, Peter Johnson.
Yeah, his Bram, it's probably the best. He said it's a cracking video.
Classic physique. But one of my favourite bodybuilders around the North East, I mean, Denny Oil, Eddie Ellenwood, all them for their heights. Now, Eddie, magnificent, best ever. On them early days, one of the ones who I really liked very much was just because of his boulder shoulders was a big lad called Andy Webb. Can you remember him?
I remember very well. He used to train with Bill Graham's.
Graham's friend.
I tell you, there was another brilliant bodybuilder.
He used to come to shows, you know how everyone come to shows all tanned up with tracks.
Remember the young lad who died?
Denim's on, denim jacket.
He was only 18 and he won everything.
Yeah.
He was only 18 from Newcastle. He died of the not enough water in his body on stage.
On stage,
with the junior Andy Hornby. Andy Hornby. He would have been he would have been the next Arnold. Brilliant.
Andy Hornby. If anyone's got any old photos of him, you can see him. Phenomenal. His physique.
I've seen him 4 times.
Perfect.
And he Newcastle where. And he's
big, smart lad.
He's always laughing.
Healthy skin.
And he won the competition and he died on stage, didn't he? It's terrible, wasn't it?
And I think a lot of it, when we go into bodybuilding on about, even though I don't train now, I study quite a lot about nutrition, athletics, and I learned a hell of a lot through the athletics with nutrition. You know, Richard studied all over Loughborough University, Brunel, with some of the best doctors and scientists there is. And I think a lot of these deaths on stage, a lot of them were to do with total dehydration, depletion of the water from the muscles.
T5, what they call them, they're taking them
and eventually it'll take the water out your heart even.
Yeah, kills you.
Bram said, did you know Andy Winder?
Yeah, I knew Andy Winder very well. I went to Tenerife when I was 19. George Fawcett came after me. We went out there. He used to spar with Nigel Benn. We went to Tenerife and Palmer run all there, £380 million with a property developer. Even that, we did timeshares, and I stayed out there 2 weeks in Tenerife with Andy Winder and his mate. Was it George? Was it not George? His mate, he got kidnapped from over there, from Darlington, but he actually got shot over there underneath.
Andy got killed over there, but I knew Andy very, very, very well. The first person to get to know him was Craig Howard. And Craig introduced us to him in 1983, and me and Andy Winder and Ray Ridgway used to work on the door at Harvey's on Bridge Road opposite Tom Sheraton now. And Andy used to just work in a baseball cap. And he was a big, strong, tough lad, but in some ways you wouldn't think it because he was that polite and smart and all that. He came across as one of these big American kids.
He used to spar with Nigel Benn.
And he was a tough lad. I mean, you know, the stories of what happened over there.
Bram saying, what are your top 5 favourite supplements and favourite pre-workout meals?
I'll try answer that.
My chicken I like. Spaghetti bolognese off my wife. I like to have a milkshake about an hour and a half before I train with a scoop of porridge, creatine, glutamine, and I have that. And then straight after training, I'll have a fresh 250ml of fresh orange juice, put the glycogen back in the liver. I'll have half a banana, and I'll have another 50 grams of protein, and glutamine and creatine again. So it is with all the type of things. It's like you've just said, everything's to do with science now. It's all science. That's why the biggest.
Bram said, "Did you know Turkish Kamal?"
No, Turkish delight.
After the athletics training, going on about the nutrition side, when we get into that, 'cause there's some really in-depth topics on that, the nutrition, medicine and that. And
that's why the people now have hammered it even in athletics, like Richie was talking. He said it's because it's nutrition. See, training's only 10%.
Someone's saying, how did Craig Howard die?
He died of a heart attack in caravan.
Was it steroid abuse?
No, you can't really say that, can you?
It's hard for anyone except someone who does an autopsy to say that.
Yeah.
Because if you would say steroid abuse, I'll give you an example. If it was a case of steroid abuse, how many people who have took steroids without naming them, not calling them, who are now living and look great at 73, 74, 75, 80 years old. So I think that a lot of it can be...
Thanks, Lee Thistlethwaite, for answering that.
I mean, you've got to remember when someone dies of a heart attack, and we go on to this in the nutrition side.
Bram said, were the supplements stronger in the 20s, in the 80s, sorry, 20s?
I wouldn't say they were strong, I'd just say they were proper. In these days, they're fake.
Someone said, sorry for asking that question about, what's he called?
Craig Howard.
Craig Howard,
No, that's okay. No, but what it was is, he died of a heart attack, that was it. There's no other thing, that was what he had.
Craig had it as well, I mean, and his girlfriend, Rachel, I know Rachel really well. She was in a group and things like that, and she talks so pleasant and posh.
Yeah.
She would be like Audrey Epstein on a movie screen. And very good listener. And that she was there sadly at the time. I knew Rachel.
Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Bram said.
100% Tyson Fury, if he keeps himself right, and I think he will if you can, because he is a Christian and we love him. And come on, Tyson, you can do it.
I think he's
no disrespect to AJ.
I
think he's a nice lad. I just don't like the comments.
I think he's very awkward to fight with him being that big, and I think
really
he got
good.
into Klitschko's head that time, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's really good at that, and I think for popularity-wise now, Tyson Fury's became very, very popular.
He is really, really good.
I think the greatest of all time was the heavyweights when Fraser, Foreman, and them brutal fights. My favourite, they were even Bugney, people like that,
Does Brian know Paul Ashton from Gateshead?
Oh yeah, I knew Paul Ashton. I was in jail with Paul Ashton, and I was curling 100 kilos on a barbell, and he went, Jesus Christ. He said, I can't even bench that in a man curler. And then if he asks, actually, he'll tell you. Friends have put monkey lines, good friends. So. Knew Paul well, I was in jail with him a few times.
So you've got everybody looking forward to a Saturday night, 7 o'clock.
Hold back what we're saying now.
Yeah, it's like a throwback what we're talking about the old days.
Going back when we do the medicine one or nutrition one, that I'd like people to ask some questions and I'd answer that.
Anyone who's struggling with anything.
No one knows what no one knows. I mean, I walk down the street, I might see someone, I don't know he's an expert at medicine or nutrition, or he's a chemist, or he's this. I mean, Bram, if he's just sat having a meal, people, you would suspect, he's something. You would know he's an expert in martial arts, travelled the world, all over. Yeah. Luckily, through having a lot of time on my hands, in prison I started studying vitamins.
Vitamins.
Then medicine. Yeah. And I must have 5,000 books. I don't want to make money out of it, but I know a fair whack about it.
I'm saying, was Mickey Theo a fighting man or a bodybuilder? I think John Fury would have beat him with these. Do you agree with that?
I think so, because I think Mickey Theo was more into bodybuilding than anything myself.
I can't answer it because I've never seen any of them fighting, but Mickey Theo was literally a bodybuilder. Yeah, he was Lenny McLean's right-hand man at one time, but maybe that was because he's a big, strong lad. But I would say John,
this is to both of you. What's the worst injury you have ever had off bodybuilding?
Mine is my tricep completely tore off me, and the injury I've got now, where I've got 5 vertebrae I've got to get out. Half my back taken out. I had a bone graft.
What's yours, Kevin?
Long-term injuries, I would say, low back problems with not warming up. We never used to warm up stupidly.
Tom Platt told me that.
and neck injuries. The immediate injury, I only ever had one immediate injury in bodybuilding, and that was while I was squatting, and I didn't know it at the time, but I think I might have torn an hamstring, but I thought it was in the cramp, and I was in agony on the floor, laid out in the gym on my stomach, and Denny Oil's with us, and Denny's a great mate of mine, but he wasn't the greatest physiotherapist, as he knows a lot now, well a lot. But I said, Denny, can you see? He said, there's a ball on your hamstring. I said, do something about it. So he started fucking stamping on it. It actually eased it up to me.
What's your favourite stack for strength, Bram said?
No comment on that.
What would you mean by
For
that?
people, steroids. I wouldn't advise anyone to take steroids now, because they're all fake and nothing. I wouldn't like any kids taking them and getting it. You don't need steroids, especially when you're a young kid, because you produce enough testosterone in your body. All you do is you stunt your growth taking steroids when you're young.
I think a lot
of steroids are alright for people at my age, maybe having a little bit if you're going to have a doctor.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't advise for anyone to take steroids.
What does insulin do if you take it and don't need it, Stuart Harrison?
Well, insulin can help your body. It's like an anabolic steroid, isn't it? You take it, helps you helps you digest more protein, and it helps you eat a lot more food on it as well. But it is a dangerous thing to take. It can kill you if you don't have enough sugars in your body. You can go hyperglycemic. You can just have a heart attack or drop down dead with it.
Heidi said, did you have a bad neck from a car accident?
Oh yeah, I did as well. Yeah, we had a car crash where I was in the back and literally give the advice to save people's lives. Webbing was, and that is coming down from Weatherby on the bank in the snow. One of them was driving, I was in the back, took my seatbelt off, told them how to do an handbrake turn into the car, didn't have my seatbelt on, you know, my neck went, going back on to when they're saying about the assistance for steroids and that, I think years ago people took them in medicinal dosages, you know, low milligrams, whereas now some of these kids, you see them, they're just shotting anything into them, they're blowing up and down, they're not gaining good, proper
How many
strength.
sprint sessions per week for fighters, Bram said, would you advise?
Well, I used to, when I was probably one of the first people who started doing it, I couldn't run on the concrete because I was too big. I used to box Frankie Atherton and John Black, John Green, John Dryden, people like that. Dickie Dowdall, on the pads, all them, Frankie Atherton. I used to do that, but what I used to do is I used to run on the sand, but it still hurt my knees because you're probably 3 times as heavy. So what I used to do is, when I tell you Dicko's brother's got a yard, there's a bank. I read about these horses running on the sand and all getting injuries, but when they run up the bank, they weren't hurting. I realised because you're running your calves like a shock absorber. So I used to do 50-metre sprint and walk back down. I do 10 of them. Instead of doing non-stop like a 10-mile running, all that running.
I'm just laughing at Bam's comment to someone.
I mean, on the athletic side, when I used to be training for fitness now, I would say sprint. But once I got into athletics, I learned a lot from it. Literally, if I was a fighting man, I think once or twice a week maximum sprint. Because if you sprint to the excess, it takes that much out, you believe it or not, you know.
He said he's
maximum 60 metres at top speed. It's a maximum around then. So these people who say they run 10 mile and then sprint, they won't.
Okay, David. See you later, Alan.
I think you better do short sprints.
Short sprints, hill sprints. Short hill sprints are excellent. And it depends what you put into it. You can look as if you're putting everything into it, but only yourself will know if you're putting everything into it.
I used to run, I was a boxer, I was 13 stone, I was 23. And there's no time short, and I was super fast, as you know, my hand speed was fast. And you're born with that. You try to enhance it, but you're either born with it, you're not born with it. Some people have got it, and some people have got that. Like Duffy he had that speed when he could hit you. He had natural power off his punches, so he's really good.
I mean, lately talking about training, Richard especially and myself had helped Simon Vallely, and he's heavyweight boxing. He came down the track with us, done a lot of sessions with Richard.
Do you know what, Northumberland? My arm is killing me. It's absolutely killing me.
Right.
No, it's all right. You can
Right.
carry on. It's been an hour.
Right,
As long as I've
Right,
ever
so
done.
We'll leave it there.
No,
then.
you can still-
leave it there because we'll keep the story
Well,
for
just to say,
Saturday. 7 o'clock Saturday, yeah.
7 o'clock Saturday,
That'll be doing.
Right, so you're definitely going to be there, Kev. Yeah,
definitely
7 o'clock
there.
Saturday.
Yeah. Remember, guys, he said it, so it's him, not us.
Ask any pre-questions if you want to Brian's YouTube channel underneath this video.
And it's free to subscribe.
And thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you guys for everyone watching, and thanks for all the questions, and I hope we had a good time there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
God bless all.
Right, brilliant. Thank you.
Whatever.
Bye.